press this, yep, 2 seconds. That'll change to a speedometer right there. That's how you know the bike is on. So the throttle is active now.
With the engine.
Exactly, yeah.
All right.
Enjoy your ride.
Thank you very much. I'll see you very soon.
Good one.
So, Spider Chump in the house. Literally, I'm in my house and not on a bike right now, not recording on a bike. Partly because last time I did that, the sound quality was so terrible that I couldn't tell what the heck I was talking about, which is kind of normal, but anyway, I thought I'd do one of the overdubs this time. At the weekend, I took out Livewire One for a test ride. There was a big Livewire event at the local Harley Davidson dealer, which I went to, and I recorded the ride I was on. So they didn't do like a group ride like a lot of places do. This one was like, get a bike and you ride off for 20 minutes, they said, and just like see how you feel. And that's okay if you know that part of San Jose. So yeah, I do live in San Jose, but I actually don't know this particular part of San Jose where the dealership is that well. So basically I test rode the bike by kind of just riding it home and seeing how I felt riding it back through Santa Clara and then back along the kind of more normal rides back. And yeah, I have to say I was pretty impressed with the bike. I thought I rode it in a kind of mixture of open freeways, busy freeways, and kind of downtown riding, and I'm pretty impressed with it. And it's got this association with Harley Davidson. Originally it was the Harley Davidson Livewire, but my expectations of a Harley Davidson being a big heavy touring bike don't really match with the Livewire. It's definitely not a particularly heavy bike. It weighs a lot, but when it comes to rider feel, it feels quite light. It's very nicely balanced. You can roll it from side to side pretty nicely, and lane split control is great. It's a really easy bike to ride at low speed as well, which is nice. I didn't actually get the chance to pop any wheelies and test how well it goes on wheelies, but I'm sure it's just great for that too. It's a very nice bike indeed. One thing I did try also, and you can see in this bit of video here, is I'm fucking with the mode button, and I just rewound it a bit, clever me. But one thing I noticed was that you can change the mode when you've got the throttle open, and it's got like 4 modes. I think there's like a fast mode, sports mode, road mode, wet weather road, and a mode for pussies. And there's a big step between each one, and I think in that video snippet there I went from road to sports while the throttle was actually open, and you can see the bike skipping and throwing me around a bit. So yeah, I learned a lesson not to do that unless you're just don't do that, I guess. So I think, yeah, I was pretty impressed with it, and stretch of road which I'm just coming up to here is pretty close to where I usually get my Triumph serviced. It's a nice, I guess it's kind of more business area, so weekends it's kind of more quiet kind of area. You can whip along at a nice speed, lean the bike over a little bit, not knee down or parallel or sideways or whatever, but enough to kind of get a feel for how the bike is with more spirited riding, and I think it did pretty nicely for that too. In general, I was very impressed with the way it handled. I thought it was a beautiful bike for that. So having come through here, through like Santa Clara kind of like commercial areas, it's time to head back on the freeway, and this is the bit here coming through the edge of San Jose onto the 880. I was kind of hoping I could have a nice open stretch of freeway and just open up the throttle a bit and kind of get a feel for it at freeway speeds. That didn't quite go according to plan, at least not for the first bit. There was a bit more traffic here than expected because it's an urban freeway in the state of California, so of course there's a decent amount of traffic inevitably on there, which is actually a good thing because it's a chance to really get the feel for the bike in moving traffic, and with a bit of lane splitting option, which I think I didn't particularly have any problems lane splitting the bike. I did ride there on my Triumph, and my Triumph is kind of a rickety old thing. It's a sweetheart, of course, but it's a rickety old thing, and this bike was all smooth, brand new, everything perfect and very easy to handle. So when it came to lane splitting on the, I mean, you're in a more upright position with wider handlebars. You can see really nicely, you can control the bike really nicely. So coming through the traffic, I was able to really open it up and lane split quite exceedingly fast. I'm not actually riding this fast, this is speeded up video, of course. I mean, with the handle technical. But yeah, the road eventually opens up a bit, and I was able to kind of open it up a bit and experience more kind of traditional Californian highway speeds. It did quite nicely at 80. I was really impressed by the lack of any kind of wind. As I was riding, I kind of expected it to be more in the chest, like most naked bikes, but this one I didn't really feel any. I was quite impressed by that. So the bike is excuse me, $22,000 total, which is not a small amount of money, and I think it's one of those things which you don't just buy unless you're particularly well off, and one is not so well off, so one has to consider. I think probably for my purposes I already have a touring bike, which is probably the one I'll tour with mostly, so I can't see me touring that much on it, and touring on an electric bike is not something I've ever done before. It can be done, I'm told, but it's not necessarily as straightforward as just getting up and going. So yeah, for touring probably not. That means I'd be commuting with it every day, basically a commuter and a shopper bike. It would probably need a few more bags on it to actually be a good commuter or shopper for my purposes, and it doesn't really come with any of those stock. You'd have to kind of build them yourself, which can be done. There's a chap on YouTube who does that. I think his name's Ben Marshall. He did that, so yeah, it can be done, but I don't think I would, which would leave me with a bike which doesn't really do everything I need it to do for a lot of money. I mean, $19,000 is a lot, $22,000 is a lot to pay for something you're just going to ride to work. So yeah, I'm impressed by the bike. I think for me it's more of an aspirational kind of bike. It's kind of shows me that an electric bike is definitely viable and probably something I'll do in the future, but it's not something I'm necessarily going to spend money on right away. So yeah, that was a fun ride.